I'm a mediocre fan of the scary movie movies. Yeah, there's some good ones in the pile, like 1 and 3, but the other ones kind of fall flat for me. Look, I mean, I love my fair share of stupid humor. I love the Naked Gun reboot back in last year. That was last year? But for some reason, the scary movie movies never really hit for me. It's really weird, right? Because I love horror movies. But I don't know, they never really reached out to me like all other comedy movies do. Cough, cough, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. That's my favorite one. But, of course, I was super excited for the new scary movie because it's going to be reaching out on horror that I know. The horror that I'm growing up with. Movies like the Scream reboot, Scream 5 and 6, Longlegs, Sinners, Substance, a bunch of movies. So the past few months I've been going through all the scary movies, 3, 4, and 5 in the past few days. Oh my god, 5. All to varying degrees of what I liked. This one, the newest one, Scary Movie, dropping the 6 and leaving just Scary Movie to make fun of all of the other movies that have done that. Is it good? Yeah. It's pretty okay. And I say that as it being my second favorite in the pile of scary movies. The first one's still beating it out. I really like the first one. I also kind of like this one too. It doesn't really make itself too seriously like all the other scary movies do, but it actually has a little bit of something to say. Now, given at the first watch you'd think this is just a bunch of skits piled into one with a very loose plot, but to be honest, if you were going into a scary movie looking for a plot, you might have to rethink your life choices. But this one had a tiny little thing to say about reboots. Like, something to actually say. Not just a random throwaway line here or a joke there. No, it got really meta, and it made you think, a lot of reboots around, right? Then again, a lot of horror franchises make you think that, but this one really made you think. I mean, if you were thinking at all watching this movie, I know I wasn't for half of it. As we all know, Ghostface is back, and so are the Wayans Brothers, who did 1 and 2. I think they wrote 3. I actually don't know to tell you, but they definitely were not in 4 and 5. They don't talk nicely about 3 though, so it makes me rethink that. So, after this franchise was taken from its family by some really, really evil people, they finally got it back a few years later. And I say few, I mean a few years later. To good success. I think a lot of people are enjoying this movie because the Wayans brothers are back and because it is them. And of course, you might look at this movie and think, are they really trying to do a scary movie here? Or are they trying to show the audience that, oh, we're back. Oh, the Wayans brothers, it's us. This is our movie. And of course, they're all right to do that. You know, they built up this franchise. They do a lot of it, though. Marlon Wayans was definitely, I think Shorty was definitely the main character of this movie. Anna Faris and Regina Hall were definitely pushed to the side a little bit with Brenda and Cindy, but I really like Shorty, so it's not much to complain about. One thing I really disliked about this movie, though, was the marketing of this movie. Now, then again, this isn't exactly the movie itself, but how it showed itself around. I think this movie was way better than the marketing. The marketing was butt booty. And it always said that they were going to push the envelope. They were going to offend everybody. But with how this movie works, with how this movie is orientated, they shoot both sides of a really messed up octagon. If everybody's getting offended, is anybody really getting offended? Is that a bad thing? No. All of the jokes in this movie shot both sides. Say, for instance, there were a lot of jokes about trans culture. There was a lot of jokes about transphobia. They were doing it at the exact same time, so I can't see that as distaste. None of the jokes of this movie were of ill intent, and I think that's really important to go in on. They made fun of everybody, right? Everybody had their shots fired at them, but none of them were taken in a bad way. Which is actually, when I was talking to my friend about this, they said this is why so many people like South Park. Because South Park shoots at every single angle in the entire complex, but doesn't mean by ill intent to any of them. I mean, maybe a few were to ill intent in South Park. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to reiterate, but you know what I'm talking about. And of course, in this movie, that there were a lot of horror franchises. I've already touched on this, but I'm touching on it again. There are a lot of horror movie franchises that are referenced and I think are beautifully done in this movie. I had my grins from ear to ear looking at all of these. I got the right hand. All of these horror movies, a lot of them, were spoofed and parodied in this movie, and I think it was really fun. Now, was my opinion of this movie kind of pushed by the way that I dressed up as Ghostface and went into this movie as Ghostface? Yeah, because that was extremely fun. Here are a bunch of clips of me going around my local as Ghostface. Now, yeah, you can't see my face now, but I'm showing them on the screen right now. It was super fun. There were so many people giving me high fives, asking for pictures. I'm on so many people's phones. It was super duper fun. I really loved it. I was sad when I had to go home, though, because I had to leave all these wonderful people. But hey, hats off to you. What do you think about the brand new Scary Movie? I thought it was cool. Good. There. Good 3.5. There's my Letterboxd review. Go follow my Letterboxd. Anyway, that's about it for me. I'm Ethan, and I have no outro. Bye!